Greetings, everyone. Once again, it's Brother Mota Mwanidi sharing the authentic truth brought to us by Zulula 100, the only teacher. The message I'm going to be sharing here today is going to be, did men really walk on the moon? Because they will claim, some organizations, they will claim that they have the ability, that they've sent people on the moon, walk on the moon. And they will also claim that they have what is called the satellites. They have that technology to send object out of the earth and orbiting the earth to watch what's going on the earth. That's their claim. So for them, they have that technology, and we're going to see in the scriptures if that is true. We're going to see also, we're going to examine the pictures of that supposed mission, the moon landing. We're going to examine that to see if it is true. We're going to examine those pictures to prove if it makes sense. And we're also going to respond to a claim regarding the scientists, where they will say that one of the biggest contradictions in the Bible is regarding the creation of the sun and of the trees, the plants, because they will say that the sun was created after the plants, after the fauna and the flora. And for them, that's a mistake, because the sun, the plants need the sun to grow, to receive the light. So for them, without the sun, the plants cannot exist, right? And since the sun was created after, that's an error. So we're gonna also respond to that. We're gonna respond to that misunderstanding. Because in Proverbs 19:2, you're told, the lack of knowledge is not good for any spirit of man of the original race. So the lack of science, the lack of understanding, the lack of knowledge is not good for you out there. And also in John chapter 8, verse 32, you're told, and you will know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. So when we go in Proverbs chapter 30, verse 4, you're told, and this message is going to be in the current classical Bible. But we know that there is the authentic Bible, Bibel Karatambale, the only authentic Bible without any errors or contradiction. And that's in Les Editions Zulula 100. You can see the link in the description. So, in Proverbs chapter 30, verse 4, you're told, who has ascended to heaven and come down? Question mark. So the question is being asked, who has ascended to heaven? But we know in the Bible, Enoch has ascended to heaven, and even Eli. So they went to heaven, but they didn't went with their physical body. It was spiritually. It was spiritually that they were transcended in the spiritual realm. But here when it says who has ascended to heaven, we know that there's also the visible heaven. So these questions were already being asked, because physically you cannot go in the spiritual realm, in the heaven, the great order of things. Physically, you cannot penetrate in there. You cannot enter with your physical body. But the scientists, they will claim that they have the ability to basically leave the earth, to reach, because the universe, because even the sky, is another word for sky is heaven. So for them, they've reached the thermosphere, even the exosphere, so they're reaching the stratosphere, so they have engines being able to reach, to get out of the earth. So meaning reaching the exosphere, and they claim that they have engines, they have satellites reaching the thermosphere, orbiting the earth. Or engines being able to leave the earth to go in the universe. So we're going to examine it if that is true. When we go in John chapter 7, verse 45 to 46, in the translation Abbé Crampon, 1923, you're told. So John chapter 7, verse 45, it says, and this is translated, when the satellites returned to the priests and Pharisees, they said to them, why did you not bring him? Question mark. Yes. In the translation Abbé Crampon in 1923, they said in John chapter 7, verse 45, is when the satellite return. So the term satellite, the word satellite is not something new. It's not something they've invented just now. No, that word already existed. And what is satellite? What is the definition? When we go, the definition of satellite is an attendant or follower of another person, often subservient or obsequious in manner. And in the New Living Translation, in John chapter 7, verse 45, you're told, when the temple guards returned without having arrested Christ, comma, the temple guards. So another word for satellite is guards, is guard. So guardian, so people who watch over. So that's why they will use that term. They will use that to claim that now they have the technology to send object out of the earth, orbiting the earth, to observe, to watch what's going on the on earth. So now another definition of satellite now is a device designed to be launched in orbit around the earth, comma, another planet, comma, the sun. And then something so another definition as a branch, office, or an off-campus facility or university that depend or accompanies or serves something else. Another is a country under domination or influence of another. And then another one, a natural body that revolves around the planet, a moon. So, in John chapter 7, verse 45, you're told, when the satellites returned to the priests and Pharisees, comma, they said to them, why did you not bring him? Question mark, verse 46. The satellites answered, comma. So the satellites are people, guardians, people that watch. The satellite answered, comma, never has man spoken like this man. So their claim that they have satellite, that satellite is something, an object that is orbiting the earth, watching over the earth, is completely false. The satellites, they are guards. And when we go, like I've mentioned, in John chapter 7, verse 45, in the New Living Translation, when the temple guards returned without having arrested Christ, comma, the temple guards. So who are the temple guards? In this teaching, in this message, you have to understand, the temple is NASA. The temple is NASA. And the guards are those who work in NASA. So when he says, when the temple guards returned without having arrested Christ, comma, the leading priests and Pharisees demanded, why didn't you bring him in? So now, the leading priests, who are they? The chief of the priests symbolize the government who are in the world. So the Pentagon and all those type of organizations, governments, bodies. And so the NASA, the people that work there, those are the guards. And they'll claim, so they observe, watch. Now, all that was the introduction. So the satellites has nothing to do with what they will show you in film, in movies, that they have object orbiting the earth, or they have the technology to send something out of the earth in the universe to watch. No. All those images, pictures, they will claim all that they are fake. Because the Creator create and suspend the earth in the universe. And then you think a man, a person, also has the ability to reproduce something similar, meaning to launch something also suspended in the universe. Following the same path, same movement, staying in the universe. So it's like they're passing themselves to have the same ability, same power. They're claiming to also master the mysteries of the cosmos, of gravity, but they do not. And they claim that they went on the moon. And notice that they don't say that they went in the moon. They'll say they went on the moon. Because for them, the moon is a rock. Is a rock. That's why they say they're landing on the moon. They went on the moon. So we're going to see in the scriptures if that is possible, if that is true, if the moon itself is a rock. When we go in Luke chapter 21, verse 25, in the King James Bible, you're told, and there shall be signs in the sun, comma, and in the moon, comma, and in the stars, semicolon, and upon the earth distress of nation with perplexity, the sea and the wave roaring. So here in Luke chapter 21, verse 25, you're told, and there shall be signs in the sun, because you can enter the sun, in the sun, and in the moon, because you can enter the moon. Because, like in the earth, because the moon is like a planet. You can enter in the moon. Some will say at night, when you observe the moon, there is like holes, there's like spots. And they will claim that that spot where you observe, where you see, they will say that's the surface. They'll say that's the rock surface, meaning the surface of the moon. And that's the scientific claim. But that is false. Who is telling you that what you're seeing when you observe the moon, that that's the surface, meaning the land? Because it is those same satellites, meaning the people working at NASA, that will say that the moon is a rock. The moon is not a rock, because the creator is not going to create a rock, simple rock, without life, just out there in the universe, an empty rock in the universe. No. The moon is a planet. It's also a star. And the moon is alive. The moon is mysterious. When we go in the Douay-Rheims Bible in Luke chapter 21, verse 25, and there shall be signs in the sun, comma, and in the moon, and in the stars. Because you can enter in the moon. Geneva Bible 1587, in the moon. Worsley New Testament, in the moon. So, those who will claim that there is no interior, you cannot enter in the moon, is completely false. In Isaiah chapter 13, verse 10, in the King James Bible, for the stars of heaven and the constellation thereof shall not give their light. Column. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, comma, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. Her light to shine. So constellation is a group of stars. So the moon has her own light, because the scientists, those who work at NASA, those who claim to have the knowledge, they they don't understand. They will claim that it is the sun that shine his light, and that's the it reflect, it bounce on the moon, and that's why we're able to see the moon. That's what we see when the moon shine. But that's not true, because the moon has her own light. The moon is a star, the moon is a luminary. So she also shines. That's why in Isaiah chapter 13, verse 10, it says, "For the stars of heaven and the constellation thereof shall not give their light, column. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, comma, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine." Her light. She has her own light. So it has nothing to do with what the fake scientists will claim. The sun has his light, his own energy. So has the moon. The moon, she has her own energy, her own light. And even the earth also has her own light, her own energy. Darby Bible translation. So Isaiah chapter 13, verse 10. "For the stars of the heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light, semicolon. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine." So in the moon is very mysterious, and in so Isaiah 13:10, in Isaiah 13:10, so like I've mentioned, you're told the moon shall not cause her light to shine. So the moon has her own light. So what they will claim, the so-called scientists, is completely false. The moon is very mysterious. That's why you even have stories, accounts, even in Hollywood, in movies and so on, regarding werewolf, where when when there's a full moon, the werewolf, they scream and so on. So there are people changing as werewolf. They transform in those fictitious account. But this is just to show you that there's a mystery behind the moon. It's very mysterious, and that's why they will try to lie. That's why they don't understand, and in their lack of understanding, lack of science, lack of knowledge, they will come up with a lot of lies regarding the moon because they don't understand, because they are not initiated. They claim to be wise, but they are fools. In Ezekiel chapter 32, verse 7, King James Bible, "And when I shall put thee out, I will cover the heaven and make the stars thereof dark." Semicolon. "I will cover the sun with a cloud, and the moon shall not give her light." So even here in Ezekiel chapter 32, verse 7, King James Bible, the moon shall not give her light, because the moon has her own light. Matthew chapter 24, verse 7. Matthew chapter 24, verse 29. King James Bible. "Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, comma, and the moon shall not give her light, comma, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken." Now, he says here, the stars shall fall from heaven. Does that mean the stars fall on earth? Like some translations, some versions will say no. And they will claim shooting stars. They will claim that shooting stars, meteors fall. When they fall, that's a rock falling from space, a meteor shooting stars, and that when it comes on Earth, that's the meteor. And then when they can find those type of rock All that is completely false. The moon is a bright star, a source of energy, terrifying and powerful source of energy. And they claim that they went on the moon. When, like I've mentioned, the moon itself has her own light, right? Now, we're gonna examine those supposed pictures of the supposed moon landing. You see in this image, they'll claim that's the moon landing. They went on the moon. Now, and you see here, they are shadows. They are shadows. How is that possible? If you have a light at home, for example, a light bulb, it's on the light bulb. And you enter that light, or maybe an ant enter that in that light bulb. You're not gonna, there won't be shadows because you cannot go on a luminary in a star on the moon that has her own light, like for example a light bulb, and then there's shadows. You see, it makes no sense. So their claim that the sun has to light the moon for her to shine, to be bright, is completely false. Makes no sense. And they claim also from the moon you can see the earth. Why? Because if you go in the universe, you're able to see the earth because the earth has her own light as well. It's not the sun. Yes, the sun has his light or her light. The sun shines, but the earth also has her own light, and also the moon, because they're all stars, luminaries. So we are going to explain these things. So they will say here on the picture here, they'll say that the moon is a rock, right? They say the moon is a rock. Now, and then they'll say when that supposed man landed on the moon, his feet was able to leave a footprint. And then you have here also footprints. So if it is a rock, how then are you able to leave footprint like that? Because they will claim it's a rock. So how heavy is that man for him to leave footprint like that on a rock? So they will change their supposed claim. They will say, oh no, it's a rock, but there's also sand on the moon, right? That's what they will claim, that there is sand on the moon, and that's why they're the supposed astronauts, they're able to leave footprints. Now, if there is sand, if the moon is a rock and there is sand and there is no wind on the moon, there is no air, because it's not like the earth. There's no wind, no air. Why on the rock in space there will be sand on that rock? Meaning it should be floating. It should be lifted up from that rock. Why would it be stuck to that rock if there's no air, if there's no wind, if there's no atmosphere? You see? Normally, even when they show you supposedly they're in their spacecraft, that they claim that, oh, you're in the universe, they're in the universe and they're floating. Because there's nothing there for there won't be anything that they will be floating, because there won't be anything basically pushing them on the ground. That force is not going to be the same in the universe. That that force that puts you grounded. That's why even often in movies, when they will show people in space, for example, they have a cup with water. The water is not gonna stay. The water is not gonna stay in that cup. It's gonna come out. So that's the basics. So if then there is sand on a rock in space, what is retaining that sand on that rock? It should be lifted up as at once. So that's the basics of the basic knowledge of those who have studied cosmology should understand, or even those who have studied astrology. So in the pictures that they will claim regarding the moon mission, like I mentioned here, you see it's dark. There are shadows. But the moon is a light source, is bright. It's a luminary, it's a star. She has her own light. Why is there darkness? Why is there shadows in there? So another contradiction, another thing that doesn't hold up. And then here you see they have pictures, those pictures. They will say, so it's a rock, but they're able to go there on that rock, plant the flag. So what did they bring? A drill, a concrete drill to pierce that rock and plant the flag. And here you see the flag floating. The flag floating. You see? And here you see it floating. You see? Floating like there is wind. Air. The flag is floating. How does that make sense? And then some people who lack knowledge, they will say, no, it's because the flag, maybe when they brought it up, it was folded. So when they put it out there, he stayed folded like that. That makes no sense. It's completely wrong. You see? That's what they will claim. You see? It's even different. It's different. It's like there is wind. There's air. It's floating. How does that make sense? Now, why is it bending? So, and then here you see in the supposed picture, and then here in this picture, here you see they say that's the picture that they took on the moon. And then you see in the universe, you don't see any stars. On Earth, you're able to observe, you're able to see the stars, even at night and even during the day. Sometimes you're able to distinguish, you're able to see some stars. But you're going out of the Earth. You're going on a supposed rock in the universe, and then you take a picture, and then you see the universe, but there is no stars. There is no stars. You're unable to see the stars. Why? You see? See here? Behind, no stars. No stars. You see? Darkness, it's dark, no stars. No stars. So, once again, that's another lie, another contradiction. It doesn't hold up. And then they claim this is the engine, this is the ship that they went on the moon with, that they landed on the moon. Okay. Now, so basically, this engine, there is, in their claim, there is a rock. And this is the engine that came and they landed on the moon. Now, have you ever watched when a rocket lifts up? When a rocket lifts up, there is fire underneath. So it burns the area. It pushes, on lift up, pushes the sand, what is on the ground. But you see the supposed rocket, supposed ship that landed there, because when it land, there's fire, right? When it land, there's fire, and when you lift up, there's supposed to be fire. So when they landed, they should have created a burnt area where the sand, because that's their claim, they're claiming there is sand on the moon. That's why the supposed astronauts, they were able to leave footprint on the moon. So why is it not burnt underneath that supposed rocket, that supposed spaceship? You see? Why is it not burnt underneath? Why is the soil intact? When the astronauts, when they're walking, they're leaving footprint. But the engine, which is way heavier, is not leaving any trace of the descent, of the burnt, of the soil being burnt, or the sand being disturbed by that powerful blast. You see? It should have been burnt. You can observe a rocket launch on Earth, when it lifts up, when there's sand on the ground, you see it burns the area underneath. You see the sand, the soil being burned, being blown off. But in this supposed picture, moon landing, none of that. Because it's all fake. It's all made up. You see? Here, underneath, here you go, underneath, intact. Nothing. It's not burnt. You see the footprint there. Underneath, it's not burnt. The soil is not, the sand is not blown off, disturbed, cleared. No. You see? So that's a lie. It's a made up, fake images. It's a big confusion, contradiction. So, and in their lack of knowledge, in their lies, they'll claim that, oh no, they know the mysteries of the universe, they know how it happened, they'll come up with theories, and then later on those theories they'll say will become affirmations. They will calculate, they'll say, no, they estimate the universe being 15 billion years old. But that the Big Bang, it happened 15 billion years ago. But at that time, meaning at that time, time did not exist. If time did not exist, how are they able to calculate 15 billion years old? Which instrument, what are they using to calculate those billion of years when time did not exist? To say this is when the universe began. You see, they're estimating, giving theories, numbers, and then people will take those theories, those numbers, and then later on they will become affirmation. So, now, the scientists, they'll claim that plants cannot grow without the sun, because they'll say the sun, there need to be sunlight, so the sun need to be there for it to be for there to be plants. And they'll say the sun was created in Genesis, according to the Bible, after the plant. So that's an error. So we're going to respond to that. Because we know the plants, they need the light, they also need oxygen to grow. However, even in the depths of the ocean, where the sunlight doesn't reach, there are plants in the bottoms of the ocean. In the bottom of the ocean, there are plants, there are life. So already you see their lack of understanding, because there's oxygen down there. And some will say, no, it's the sunlight, the little particles that are penetrating deep down, even the depth of the ocean, when we know in the depth there's no light, it doesn't reach down there. But that's their claim. In Genesis chapter 1, verse 11, King James Bible, and God said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed it is in itself, upon the earth, and it was so. And in Genesis chapter 1, verse 12, and the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielded seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself, and his kind. And God saw that it was good. And at that period, the sun wasn't yet created. How is it possible? We're going to answer that. In Genesis chapter 1, verse 13, and the evening and the morning were the third day. Genesis 1, verse 14, Amplified Bible. Then God said, let there be light bearers, sun, moon, stars, in the expanse of the heavens, to separate the day from the night, and let them be useful for sign, token of God's provident care, and for marking seasons, days and years. Literal Standard Version, Genesis chapter 1, verse 14. And God says, let luminaries be in the expanse of the heavens. Let luminaries, because the star, the moon, they are luminaries. Genesis chapter 1, verse 15, King James Bible. And let them be for light in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon the earth, and it was so. Genesis chapter 1, verse 16. And God makes the two great luminaries, the great luminary for the rule of the day, and the small luminary and the stars for the rule of the night. So, how is that possible? To understand that phenomenon, we're going to explain here. Because the initiated, they know those things. You have to be initiated to understand, to know these things. Genesis chapter 1, verse 3, King James Bible. And God said, let there be light. Column. Let there be light. And there was light. So before the sun, in Genesis chapter 1, verse 3, you're told, and God said, let there be light. And what is that light? And here we're going to stay in the visible. So regarding the visible realm, the visible creation. What is that light? That light was a source of energy who had life. And life emanated from it. And that light also gave life, was a source of life also for the plant, for the trees, and a source of life, meaning it gave the light and also the oxygen to the creatures who were later created in the visible. Because that initial light, that light in Genesis chapter 1, verse 3, let there be light, and there was light, was there before the sun. So they didn't need the sun because there was already the light, even the light of the earth, before the sun was created. John chapter 1, verse 3. Everything came into existence through him, period. Not one thing that exists was made without him. So that's regarding the light. John chapter 1, verse 4. The Word gave life to everything that was created, and his life brought life to everyone. So, the verb of loba, also known as the word, so the verb of loba, in it there is life, there is light, and the verb of loba manifests life, manifests the light, the living energy that nourishes plants even before the sun. That's why in Genesis chapter 1, verse 3, you're told, let there be light. Now, another misconception regarding the earth and the light and the sun is they will claim that it is the sun that makes the day appear. And when the sun, they'll say the sun set, but does the sun really sleeps? No. When the sun moves, disappear for example, for some people in a territory, for them that's when the night appear. So for them it is the sun that brings forth the day, and when it's not there, that's when the night appear. But that is not true, because like I've mentioned, the earth has its own light. And for the night to appear, it is the clouds that changes color. You can observe before the night appear, what happened? The clouds, they change color, so they darken. That's what makes the night. It is not the sun. Because, for example, even during the day, when it's hot and there's a storm coming, you see the clouds, they will change color, they will darken, and you will think, oh, it is nighttime. Because they darken and then they block the light of the sun. But it is so dark that you think they block the light, they darken, and you would think, oh, it's nighttime, even during the day. And even if the sun is out there and shining, but is not piercing through those clouds, because those clouds, they are the one who brings the night when they change color. So for night to appear is not regarding the sun. It is the clouds that changes color. So that's another phenomenon that the scientists don't understand, because they came with a lot of theories. They try to explain everything when they lack knowledge. So it is not mandatory for the sun to be it is not mandatory if the sun is here on a territory and not on another, that means over there it's automatically nighttime. No. That's why even there are places on earth where there is, for months, period for a long period of time, even months, is day. Is day. There's no night because the clouds don't darken there for a long period of time. So in Isaiah chapter 9, verse 2, King James Bible, the people that walk in the darkness have seen a great light, column. They that dwelled in the land of the shadow of death, upon them had the light shined. So, all the theories that the scientists they'll claim, oh no, there are aliens out there, or that there's parallel dimensions, different type of world dimensions, that they if they, for example, go into a black hole, they will be able to travel time. That there are different world, different dimension, and so on. All those theories that the scientists will bring, all those things, they are completely mistaken. Mistaken. It is completely false. Physically, you cannot travel. You cannot time travel. You cannot travel in time. So the theory that, oh, if you enter a black hole and you get out, it's going to be a different time. No. The only way to travel through time, to time travel, so the mystery of travel in the past and in the future, it is spiritually. And no one walked on the moon. You can enter the moon, but no one entered it. Meaning, when I'm saying no one is regarding men, people. Though they cannot enter in the moon. No one of the visible. So, the sun is there to mark the time, the periods, and is also there to nourish the plants and all that. But the first light, like I've mentioned, was already there also to and from that light emanated life. So because that light was a source of energy. So, and regarding the satellites, that they have the ability to get out of the earth, send object to orbit the earth, or send object in the universe to explore the universe, all those theories, or all those claims, they are fake. Whatever the images they will show, like I've demonstrated, like I've shared with the images they will present, it's all made up. It's a big lie. So they will claim, oh no, they have satellites observing the Earth. And in some movies, Hollywood movies, they'll say, oh no, from their satellites, they're even able to see, for example, the watch in their supposed movie, the watch of someone, right? Somebody is wearing the watch. So from the supposed satellite, they are even able to read what time it is from the satellite. But that is completely wrong. Those are lies. Because you see, even regarding when there's wars or when there are people they're looking for, terrorists and so on, oftentimes it takes them years and years. They don't find them. If they had those type of technology, why are they still looking for people? Why they have watch lists and that watch list is there for years and years and years when they supposedly have the technology, they have supposedly satellites, a lot of satellites, many of them out there orbiting the Earth, watching what's going on the earth is because it's completely wrong. It's completely fake. There are no satellite out there. They are liars. The satellites, they are people that work at NASA, and behind that, you have to understand, is an occult system, a conspiracy, a lie, a deception. So, um, and like I've mentioned regarding time travel, there's only the physically you cannot time travel, and it is only spiritually. And there's only one person who hold that secret today, and it is Zulula 100, the only teacher. And there are some things that Zulula 100 will openly won't openly say because it could inspires those who know that he is here. So that was the message that I've shared regarding the moon landing. The moon landing is completely fake, made up. The moon itself is a star, is a source of light. So you cannot go on the moon and you see the shadows. You supposedly land on the moon is completely false. And then there, like I've shown with the pictures, there's a lot of errors uh, that it doesn't hold up to scrutiny. That was the message. All glory be to Lurba, the only and unique creator.